Hi, it's Kristen from Pratt Scraps, and I'm working on day 2 of my December daily using my Wild Hare Kit Club. And the paper I'm using for the background today is the Welcome Home from Cartabella. I ended up cutting 2 rectangles because even though day 3 will be on the next page, I, at this point in time, think I want the pages to match. I may change that. We'll see what happens when I get to day 3. But yeah, I really like the backside too, that wood grain. It's very nice. So yeah, the plaids don't line up because of the way I cut it, so that may be a deal breaker for me, so we'll see. I have lots of really cute stuff to choose from, so I'm not too worried about it all. This particular day, it was a Saturday, December 2nd. We had a few things going on in the morning and then a few things going on that evening that I wanted to document. So I use little pictures. When I have multiple things in one day, I just use smaller pictures. And thinking ahead to the next day. I love that tree card, so it will be used soon, but not today. I'm looking for a card. I like to do a lot of flips when I do traveler's notebooks. So I thought when I'm doing my December daily, why do it any differently? So I decided to figure out how to make a couple little flips. I started this, now that I have a teenager, she's able to stay home with the younger two. Well, the one is almost old enough to stay by herself as well, but I just feel more safe when we go out at night, if I, with having the older daughter now. So last year was her first year that she stayed home with her sisters while we went to the Christmas party. My husband works for his brother, and we always do an annual Christmas party with all the workers. He does excavating, and yeah, so they always put on a very nice little Christmas party and a nice dinner and stuff like that. And this last year we started the tradition that while we were out at dinner, the girls stayed home and decorated gingerbread houses. Last year I did not put them together ahead of time. I just left the kit and said, "Here you go." Learned from that mistake, and so this year I assembled just the walls and rooftop, and then the kids did the rest of the decorating. And it was fun because then they'd send me pictures, actually Snapchats, of the progress and the mess they were making, and yeah, it was nice. I knew that later this month we would be doing another gingerbread house activity, so I wasn't too very upset about missing out on this one. I always like to be with the girls when they do stuff like this, but I knew we'd still be doing something, so I wasn't too worried about it. And they had fun, and it kept them out of trouble for a little while. They made a huge mess that I got to come home to, but it was worth it. I don't get a lot of time just with my husband, so it was good, all good. So I'm just making a little flip. I ended up just using another piece of paper from my kit, and it was from Echo Park, the winter. Oh no, perfect winter. A perfect winter from Echo Park, that candy cane stripe. And I used that on day 1, so it kind of coordinates. And I'm going to try to keep using, obviously, the same papers throughout the layout. And so the top picture is my best friend that I've been friends with since I was 8 years old, which is a very long time. We've been friends, and we met for coffee. My middle daughter had a Girl Scout meeting, and it was not in the town that I live in. It was up north of where I live, and my friend lives there, so we met at this little coffee shop, and I swiped they were just there to take a business card from the coffee shop, and decided I was going to incorporate that into my December daily, and I had to do a little rearranging because I put that gingerbread house tag, I attached it too early, but it was kind of a pain to attach it, so I didn't want to unattach it. And the fact that I would like the pages to flow chronologically from top to bottom, left to right. The kindergarten teacher in me likes that, but it doesn't always work out for the wannabe artist inside me, so I had to rearrange and started with our evening, that's the top picture, my husband and I out to dinner, and then the gingerbread houses, and then the coffee. But all in all, the most important part of this is just documenting my day. So if that's the goal, I achieve that goal. And I decide to do a double flip on this page. So I have, and they kind of overlap a little bit. And that's why I cut out those little, I didn't cut them, I punched out those little black circles and attached them so that they're kind of like little handles, you could say, to attach the, or to use to flip the cards. And I did not mount the business card from the coffee shop on another piece of cardstock or anything because there's information on the backside. Like, I'm never going to call them, but if I ever wanted to, I could because I have their information. So there's that. It's hard to see in this picture, but the swirl on the coffee cup, it's kind of like steam coming out of the coffee, and it says "Catch the Buzz." I just think it's cute. And the name of the town is Cross Lake, so that's why it's called Cross Lake Coffee. Oh yeah, and then I'm continuing with using the wrappers from the kids' countdown to Christmas calendar. I found out the other day that some people start at day 25 and count backwards to day 1. And all of my years we always had these as kids, we always started with door number 1 and opened them from 1 down to 25. So I was just curious, do you follow like a countdown from 25 to 1, or do you start with number, like the same as the date? We started at December 1st, and depending on what the date is, that's the day we open. Just curious. Set this paper aside. So, I went and grabbed behind me, on my table behind me, I have my thickers all in a basket. And I have all they're sorted by colors. And I wanted a number 3. I was looking for a number 3. And it didn't dawn on me until I was peeling the stickers off that it's actually day number 2. So luckily I caught that before I finished the page. But I have that little brand down there again that I need to cover up. So I decide to go with this size. It's a perfect size. Go to peel off the 3 and go, oh wait, it's the 2. So grab the right one. And then I decided, since I already have 2 black circles for the tabs to flip the flips, I decided to use one more circle for that 3, the power of 3, to put like a little landing spot for that too. And I decided not to back our picture with anything. And even though part of our shirts are covered with the flip, that's okay because I plan to do our journaling underneath about our Christmas party, and then journaling about the gingerbread house is going to be on the back of the flip card. And then I get stamps out, which is a little crazy for me. I do a little stamping. So part of this gets cut off, I believe, because my camera battery went down to 10%, and I didn't realize that pauses your videoing when you're going to low battery on your iPhone. So it gets a little choppy here, so it might be some little quick segments, but basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to find my stamps pad right now. It's right in front of me, but I can't see it because my desk is a mess. So, but I found it. So I stamped this. This stamp, there's something wrong with the one side of it. That left side, bottom of the cup, it never stamps. It's a very, very thin right there. So it never ever shows up. But it doesn't really, it's okay. It works fine. Stamp the word coffee, and I'm going to try to get that on the label. Trying to see if it looks okay when the part of that C is cut off. And then I trim it up. I guess this part didn't get cut out. Some portion of this, I remember I looked up and I saw that and I was like, oh great. So I'm trying very hard to be conscious of being within the shot, not outside of the view. viewing area. I'm working on that. Excuse me. The sickness is going around big time in our neck of the woods. I got to deal with hand, foot, and mouth disease. Never dealt with that before at daycare. It's just kind of a rash that has to just run its course, and for some kids it's awful, and for some kids it's really mild. I think I had 5 kids that got it. It was just yuck. Felt bad for them. And then what else did we deal with? Oh, I had a little girl sit next to me and decide to vomit right in her dress while she was sitting next to me. Her brother is in school, and he had the stomach flu the week before. So this was a Monday or Tuesday, and I wasn't totally surprised. But luckily, that was an isolated incident. Nobody else was throwing up. I've had it where it's gone crazy in there. Excuse me. And then some of them just have a typical runny nose, head cold type of thing. It takes kids quite a while to build up their immunity and being able to fight off these illnesses. I have a pretty darn good immune system. I can fight off most things, knock on wood. My cold was very mild compared to some of them. Okay, so it looks like what cut off was me coloring in that coffee cup and attaching it. You'll see it later. It's underneath that business card. And excuse me, my friend's name is Sonia, and so it just says coffee. Oh, I was looking for letters to put. I was going to put with friends, and then I just couldn't find the right size sticker because it's a very small space. So I just ended up writing coffee with Sonia. And then the other stamp I used before it cut out was is always a good idea, is what that stamp says. So here I'm just writing with Sonia with my micron pen. So yeah. And then I'll journal, just talking about how when we're gone the girls get to do their gingerbread houses. I really like these micron pens. I have tried many different pens, but I always go back to this micron. My go-to pen. I'm trying to look for it here so I could tell you which point it is, because there's a certain one that I like for writing. My creaky chair I'm sitting on. It's the Micron .03. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I go to most often. But I like having lots of choices for pens. You saw my colored pencil kit there. That was, yeah, it's like 48 colors or something ridiculous, but I love it. I love the choices. It looks like, oh, I'm putting on these little, there's some little circle snowflake chipboard pieces from the Deck the Halls Echo Park that I got in my Wild Hare kit. And I end up using those on the little poles for the tags, or the flips, and for whatever reason I tried to use a glue dot, and the glue dot wouldn't come off of the plastic backing, and it just ripped the cardboard off the back of the chipboard. So I ended up using regular glue, Tombow mono adhesive. It worked out great. Thanks for watching. Here's some still shots. Bye.